Third delivery. Play and a miss again. Fourth delivery. Play and a miss. Hit high in the air in the offside. Is this a chance? Yes, I think it is. Take on. Martin Guptill takes a simple catch on the long off boundary.
And that sets them into frenzy. They're home. What a match. Extraordinary.
And a frenzy, why not? Now, we know in any form of cricket, especially white ball cricket, of course, bowling a maiden is awesome. Bowling a wicket maiden is even more awesome. But to bowl a wicket maiden as your super over, Danny Morrison, I mean, isn't that impossible to replicate?
Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary, isn't it? That's why I think we've mentioned it quite a bit here on Rario, that spinners have such a massive say in T20 around the globe in these franchises. So in a way, it didn't surprise me. He was probably, I reckon, almost at his peak here, Sunil Narines, in terms of getting the ball to go, his rhythm, less injuries, had less issues on and off the field. Yeah, I think when you look at a guy to go to for a super over, given that the pitch was going off the straight somewhere, look how much it was turning, was quite outrageous too. So, yeah, he's been a freak. Moods goes on about them. They're special, wizardry, and they really are X-Factor guys that you just go to any night of the week in those conditions. You'd want to go for Sunil.
Tom, Danny mentioned that, Sunil Narines was probably top of his game at this point. He was also, playing IPL, and he was opening the batting, I think, at this stage. He was, clearly playing super over, bowling out super overs as well. Was he really unplayable, or was he really like, the guy, at this stage in the mid 20, well, the noughties, or with the 2014-15?
Yeah, look, he clearly is a special bowler, has been for a long, long time. During that phase there, back in 2014, as Danny alluded to, he was probably at his most dangerous. And what made him difficult to face was the alarming turn that he got. In this particular over, he only looked to turn the ball away from Nicholas Pooran. He was getting, probably a foot to nearly 2 feet in spin. A lot of people who haven't faced him or haven't seen him up close and personal bowling, he bowls a lot quicker than you expect. So that also makes it challenging from a batsman's point of view. So you've got that alarming turn, you've got that pace, and he gets the ball to bounce as well. He's got a very, very high delivery release. So he does get some bounce. Sunil Narines himself is probably 6 foot tall, but with a full extended arm, gets that extra bit of bounce. So speed, bounce, and alarming turn, all I can say is good luck.
And Danny, despite challenges with his action, which must have had some sort of psychological play on him, he still came through, and it didn't really come, you couldn't really gauge that there was anything emotionally, mentally, psychologically affecting him. I mean, his batting, bowling, both were just, at that stage, really top of the pops. Yeah,
like Moods and I have been saying, I think particularly at that time, and then all of a sudden, didn't it, the microscope went more on particularly the right arm finger spinners or the unique magicians. Really, the heat went on them, and that was possible. I think that subtly had to have had an effect mentally, hence the long sleeves and that. Let's not beat around the bush. Cutting the sleeve short, you don't want to do that, obviously. So, yeah, I think just a part of that. And then everyone's sees, and as Mood said, everyone this day and age, all the technology, all the digital viewing, coaches and that, they can just dissect you and bring it out and look at a lot of footage. When's he likely to get in close? When's he likely to try and come on? The matchups and all those things Moods could dive into for ages. So I think, as we just said, that around that 13, 14, 15, he really was at his peak until everyone started to dissect it a bit more. Yeah, and of course the ICC rulings.
Tom, you've coached him, right now during the 100 for the Oval Invincibles. When you're choosing a bowler as a coach, when you're choosing a bowler for a super over, what would be going through your mind? And if you were aware of coach's hat, picking Sunil Narine to bowl this specific super over, we obviously saw the spin, but what else would you consider when you pick a bowler to bowl the super over?
Yeah, a lot depends on the conditions that you're playing in. A lot depends on the opposition that you're playing and who you're assuming that is coming in to that super over. Are they left hand? Are they right hand? Are they, strong against spin? Are they strong against pace? What's their current form against those types of disciplines? So there's a number of things that come into consideration. So there's no surprise to see Sunil Narine bowl that over. We've talked about how that was really, he was peaking as a destructive bowler at that time, and also he was bowling in conditions that were very favourable in Guyana, where the ball was really turning. So it was going to be very, very hard. It doesn't matter who you are. But it was always going to be very hard to get him away with all those things in his favour.
Indeed. I mean, from the point of view of starting this show with the Rario black moments, this really is up there and like I said, venerated black moment.